Thanks for joining us again here today. And I'm excited to speak with you. Of course, this is Dave Sackett with Persimmon Technologies. I'm Brad Bebke with Hyperbots. Today, we're focusing kind of this interview on the Hyperbots AI Co-Pilots on SAP S/4HANA and focusing specifically on the nature of kind of questioning around that. So we'll first kind of kick things off, Dave, with you. Our first question, what makes Hyperbots AI Co-Pilots a natural fit for SAP S/4HANA?
So Hyperbots comes with a certified plug-and-play connector for S/4HANA, cloud or on-prem. I use Epicor on-prem, so if I was using SAP, I would probably also use the on-prem. It gives co-pilots a secure read and write access to everything finance and procurement teams need. For example, company structures, vendors, material data, POs, purchase orders, good receipts, invoices, payments, and also custom fields, which are very cool to use. SAP stays as a single source of truth, and Hyperbots executes that repetitive work around it, kind of sits on top of your SAP environment.
Very good. How would you say, if you had to put a number on it, I guess, how long does it take to get a Copilot live on S/4HANA?
Yep, I mean, it's quick. Most projects land within 3 to 5 weeks, and that covers things like connection setup, mapping to the sandbox, user acceptance testing can take some time, and production cutover. The tooling is already pre-built, so the elapsed time is mainly just for the internal approvals.
That's huge. I've seen implementations of software between the two take months, right? And sometimes 6 months. So we'll elaborate a bit further on, syncing data with S4. How often does Hyperbots sync data with S4, and what cadence do you recommend?
So that's the cool thing, because it's a real-time system. You can get company structures and chart of accounts, vendor material and cost center masters. You can get POs and receipts, invoices, all write operations, PO invoice, journal entry, and accrual could all be real-time. If you're asking what I would suggest, I'm thinking company structures and chart of accounts don't change that often, but weekly might make sense. For vendor and material cost masters, daily for sure. You want to capture PPV and to show that everyone has material inside your company. And then all other write operations in real time.
Very good. Yeah, I think those are good suggestions, right? Not everything needs to necessarily be real time, even though Hyperbots allows for that and does a lot of things naturally kind of in real time as the nature of AI. But being able to kind of say, hey, these are the different types of data that we need to sync at these different time periods and what's realistic, and it's all there for you. But sometimes breaking it down and kind of having it separated out in a way that it syncs at a natural time period makes sense.
I agree. And every company is different, so you're going to have different priorities. My priority is capturing receipts. I want to know the second it comes in, did I have my product, so then I can ship it off to the manufacturing floor. So it's, exactly. Each company will have their priorities.
Yep, totally agree. How would you say each Copilot automates with an S/4HANA task?
So invoice processing Copilot, for example, reads the PDF, matches to the PO and receipt. It auto codes tax and posts the invoices. About 80% of those can go through without any human touch. The Accruals Copilot, it looks at open POs, it looks at receipts. With invoices, books the month-end accrual entries automatically and reverses them when the real invoice comes in. For the purchase rec and purchase PO approval, Copilot creates purchase requests from contracts, checks against the budget, routes for approval in teams, and converts the requests into POs. The vendor Copilot validates tax IDs, bank details, onboarding of approvals.
Very good. How does Hyperbots handle exceptions or write failures back to S4?
So every time the AI writes something, it's immediately read back and compares the fields. If SAP returns an error, say a closed posting period, the connector retries a few times. If it still fails, the record lands on the integration exceptions queue, and the finance department will get an alert. There are no silent errors. When something doesn't work, people will know.
And on top of that, what safeguards exist for security, data integrity, customization, stuff like that?
Yeah, no, excellent question. One that my company was very keen on learning. The platform is SOC 2 Type 2 compliant and ISO 27001 certified. Access uses short-lived tokens tied to your SAP role. No hard-coded passwords are needed. Data is encrypted at rest and in transit. Hyperbots goes through a discovery process to map the custom fields automatically and supports multi-currency and multiple reporting ledgers within SAP. A single dashboard shows the health of every company code and plant.
That's awesome. Yeah, security is obviously important. I think whenever data is being handled in any facet, want to make sure that things are secure, but the depth of that is important, and I think you laid that out clearly. As far as like the SAP landscapes, they're typically, I would say, more or less famously customized. Um, how would you say the co-pilots kind of cope with client-specific fields and rules?
Yep. So during onboarding, Hyperbot scans the metadata so that any custom fields that have been added can be read and written just like a standard one. If you've got custom posting rules, say a special segment field, the AI learns from your historical posting and then fills that in every time, just as if it's a standard field.
What would happen if you upgraded to a new S4 release or migrate from ECC, for example?
Yep, each connector is versioned. So for an ECC migration, Hyperbots has dual write mode so that both ledgers stay in sync during the cutover. The S4 release waves are handled behind the connector so that co-pilots continue to run with zero code changes.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's huge, being able to have a little bit of flexibility and kind of that solution and migration, if you will, is huge without kind of losing a step.
Yep, and people worry that if you're going to have custom fields, maybe the upgrade process isn't smooth. So
right.
That talks to it.
Awesome. Well, how do you guarantee that each write transaction actually succeeds in SAP?
So success isn't just a no error message. Hyperbots will post, then immediately read the record, compare the amounts of the currency, company code, and other key fields. Only the perfect match earns the green posted check badge. Otherwise, it's retried and escalated.
Awesome. Well, this brings us to our final question. There's been a lot of good stuff in regards to S/4HANA. And I think it's shared a lot as to kind of the capabilities in syncing the two solutions. How is Hyperbot's agentic AI on S/4HANA different from other AI add-ons or, say, SAP's own machine learning features?
Yep. So many tools stop at OCR or reporting. Hyperbots delivers agentic workflow, AI that acts, creates purchase orders, books journals, reverses accruals, requests vendor credit memos, reconciles payments, closes POs, verifies tax end to end. That's all action. That's where you're allowing an AI agent to act on your behalf as an employee would act. So Hyperbots has finance trained models that can reach 99.8% accuracy and drive about 80% of productivity gains, far more than about 30% from basic OCR or standard RPA bots. So every step is logged as an immutable trail that can keep auditors happy. So everything's logged and can be researched again.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you elaborating on that. Obviously, I think it's important to understand how Hyperbots works not only with any solution, but specific to things like S/4HANA, very popular, SAP in general. So I think it was great to walk through the different areas, how things sync, the security behind it, right, and then how frequently we can see these things happen, are just a few of the topics that we ran through today. But thanks again, Dave. We really appreciate it as always. I'm sure we'll be on for the next one soon. And until then, take care.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. You too. Have a good one.
You too.